Wow, you sold the house and the seller is still upset. And you've gotten this dreaded phone call after the niceties with the big question, why? Why is my seller net so much less than the sales price? Let me help you with that because evidently a critical conversation was not had or not remembered before we got to this point. And it caused frustrations on both sides because you're expecting your pat on the back, your rub on the head, your attaboy, and you have anxiety from your seller, frustration from your seller. I'm going to pull a file out of archive that's going to talk about the components of the seller's closing costs because the sales price may or may not be the listing price, but it is never the same as the seller's net unless they pay for it directly out of closing. And that in 32 years have not happened in my uh, background, in my experience. We need to have the conversations with sellers, and sellers need to know going forward, before we even get to the closing table, ideally before we even get a sale, that there's a cost to doing business with a real estate professional. So listen and learn. It'll keep you in this business and out of jail for choking somebody for asking you why they got so little after you worked so hard. And you'll have a happier ending with expectations being laid out in advance with your sales transactions. What are seller closing costs? Let me tell you. It's your owner's title policy. It's your recording fees, where you're recording the conveyance of the deed, the paperwork to the city publicly from the seller's ownership to the new buyer. It is any existing liens, judgments, including prepayment penalties, and your commissions. And last but certainly not least, your prorations, which is the responsibility of paying for the taxes, insurance, and maintenance fees up until the point that you have sold the property. That is given as a credit to the buyer, who will be responsible for those fees for the entire year. So those are your typical closing costs. Thanks for listening because I am D1 to talk.